Yeah, because we had the European elections earlier this week, on Thursday, and Geert Wilders won the elections. So, you're from outside, you came from the States. What's going on here in Holland? What's going on?
Well, listen, politics or politricks sometimes cannot be explained.
Politricks?
Yeah, politics or politricks sometimes cannot be explained. There are phenomena that take place, you understand me, in basketball or football or in politics. It's a very sometimes unpredictable arena. Who will be the winners? But that doesn't mean that he will significantly change or alter Dutch society. Why? Because Dutch society today is a part of the European Union, and the European Union is a part of the infrastructure of the world, and the world is now cemented together into a global community by telecommunications and fiber optics.
But that's intelligent talk, and as you earlier on said, Geert Wilders doesn't want you to enter Holland simply because he don't want people to speak intelligently about Islam. So, coming back to his party and his success, isn't there anything which he says that makes sense? Because,
well, listen, we cannot dismiss the academic intelligence of Mr. Wilders. We cannot dismiss his social views. We can't dismiss the fact that he's been supported by a number of people. But I think that what we can focus on is his ideas about Islam and Muslims. Are they correct, or are they biased or based on prejudice? Well, they're the latter. They're biased and based on prejudice, and I would say, notwithstanding his popularity, I say that what Mr. Wilders needs to do, if he really wants to sell his package or his idea about Islam and Muslims, and this whole idea about being a dominant culture being subverted by Islam, if he wants to really sell that to the public, I think he needs to come out into a public forum. He needs to come out of his dark cloisters.
Geert Wilders doesn't want to debate Muslims, and for certain he doesn't want to debate you. I'm giving you 20 seconds to speak to Geert Wilders. What would you like to say to him now?
Well, I think that as a public servant and a person that has earned his position by the public giving him trust, what he needs to do is he needs to bring his ideas and his convictions about Islam and Muslims into a public forum and have a dialogue about that with people who are qualified to respond.
Good. Let's turn from politics to your view on Islam in Holland and your view on Muslims. What is your advice for the people of Holland in dealing with the Islam and Muslims?
Well, I think what we should do in an act of reciprocity, Muslims need to look at the Dutch society and not always Dutch people. The Dutch government is not the people. It's the government. So the government is not always responsible for everything people do, and certainly the people are not always responsible for the posture of the government. And similarly, I want to say to the Dutch people that Islam is a historical, faith-based system that needs to be reviewed on the basis of its historical contribution to civilization, to science, and to the world. And that there are 1.5 billion people around the world that have embraced or representative of that faith.
But people who voted for Geert Wilders feel intimidated by us Muslims and by Islam.
Listen, if I was walking in the dark and I didn't know where I was walking, I might be intimidated by the dark. But if I knew where I was going and I was familiar with the neighborhood, I wouldn't be intimidated even though it was dark. You know, blind people, okay, who are well gifted, they're not intimidated by the fact that they can't see. They're comfortable by virtue of their familiarity. So I think that Mr. Wilders is exploiting the fact that people don't know about Islam. And I would say to the Dutch people that you have to separate culture from religion. You have to separate Muslims from Islam.
Yeah, let's look at those Muslims, because you are like really popular among young Muslims here in Holland. What is it that you do? What is it in your maybe charisma? What makes you so popular?
I don't know, maybe it's this red beard.
You're trendy.
Yeah.
It's fashionable.
Well, listen, I'm from Harlem. I'm from Brooklyn. So I can metamorphose quickly. I can speak in Harvard, and I have. I can speak in Columbia University, and I have. I can speak at Oxford University, and I have. I can speak in the City Hall or the Chamber of Commerce, and I have.
Or Almere.
Or I can speak in Almere or Belmar, I think you call it.
Yes.
You see?
We should now say Zuidoost in Amsterdam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I can speak in Harlem, or I can speak in Brooklyn, and I can have the same level of rapport, because that's my scope of interaction. Why? Because I'm a people person, and I don't exploit that, but I try to utilize it properly. And just as I have a very powerful relationship with my grandchildren, I don't have a problem in having a powerful relationship with young people in any place in the world where I've been. So if somebody has a problem about that, maybe they should ask me how that's done, and I'll share that with them.
I noticed you didn't mention your message.
No, my message is a part of my persona. See, my message is a part of my persona, and young people, they can smell it out. They can sense it. You know, if you got the right walk, you got the right intonation, and you've got the right look, when you communicate with young people, either they turn off quickly or they turn on quickly. So I have a way, when I'm with young people, to be with them where they are, to talk with them the way they talk, but at the same token, earn their respect.
Yeah, because if you look at your conversion to Islam, or reversion to Islam, you were really critical. Do you think that young Muslims here in Holland share the same attitude?
You mean being critical about the society?
For example, or maybe during the search in Islam, or
no, I think
separating religion from the culture?
I think that young people today are quite different than young people when I was young. I think it's quite different, and we're talking about a span of 50 years. The world has changed tremendously. The voices of people are heard across the planet. People are able to Bluetooth from sitting right here to China. So young people are in control of tremendous communication tools. So today is quite different than when I was young. But yes, there are some young people who are angry, frustrated, confused. They want to express themselves. And so Muslim youth are basically the same. They may even have some more frustrations because of language or culture or social disadvantages or so forth and so on. Yeah. I think that when I'm talking to especially young Muslims living in this country, I'm talking to them about citizenship. I'm talking to them about what contribution they need to make to this society. Yeah. I'm asking them...
We're limited in our time. Yeah. I really need to ask you two questions. Could you please answer really short? First question, was there any contact between you and the Dutch government when you came to Holland?
No, nothing other than the normal immigration process.
No minister who was calling you to ask you what your views were on Islam?
Never, no.
Second question, you're in Almere right now, here in Holland. What are your plans? Are you planning to settle here in Holland?
Who told you I was in Almere?
You were lecturing in Almere, or am I wrong?
No, I visited a group of people in Almere. Almere is a very nice city, one of the newest cities of Holland, and I found it very intriguing to find such a beautiful city. Plus, it was very close to Hilversum, and I'm trying to collaborate with public and commercial people that are in the field of media.
But what are your plans? Are you planning to stay in Holland? Is this going to be your new home country?
I don't know. It depends on how the table is set. I mean, I'm a media Bedouin. I don't know how you say that in Dutch.
Well, English,
but a Bedouin searches for water and shade. Those are the main resources.
And that's why you're here in Holland right now.
So Holland has one of the most powerful, resourceful media gateways of Europe. And so why wouldn't I try to collaborate and take advantage of that and build relationships in Hilversum in particular. Good. So if things work out well, both from a ideological point of view and a business point of view, I may be spending more time in Holland. And of course, if I fulfill the requirements of doing business in the Netherlands.
Shaykh Khalid Yasin, thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah,
and for your time.
Thank you so much.
En dat was dan weer voor televisie. Tot zover deze speciale uitzending van In Focus. U kunt het gehele interview nog één keer nakijken van Shaykh Khalid Yasin via internet www.